Education, the 2017 Wings to Fly program. Thank you.
Dr. Peter Munga, the chairperson of the Equity Group, my good friend and brother, Dr. James Mwangi, the CEO of Equity Bank, my colleagues, the two principal secretaries in the room, ambassadors who are present, and all members of the diplomatic corps, the leaders who are here from our legislative arm of government, members of parliament in the two houses, the leaders of our county governments who are present here, the large number of our clergy, our spiritual leaders who are present here, and I will speak about them shortly and the support they have given to the education sector. My colleagues from the education sector across the spectrum of responsibility, especially the school principals who are here, all of you, my dear friends, young scholars and the beneficiaries of the Wings to Fly program, our partners, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocol observed. This is the first major public event in the education sector this year. Therefore, I take this opportunity to thank the Lord for the blessed opportunity of a new year, the opportunity to serve, and the blessing of each one of us here today. As I make my brief remarks, may I very sincerely wish you the Lord's blessings, and that we pray that the Lord continues to guide us and strengthen us for the important work that we have to do for our beloved country. And as I say that, Dr. Munga, thank you so much for the support and offer of a bulletproof vest, but with David, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Therefore, may He bless us indeed this year, and may His purposes be fulfilled as all of us endeavor to make our humble contribution to the development of our beloved country. I was sent here this morning by His Excellency the President, and I think it's important I start by performing the most important duty. President Uhuru Kenyatta sent me here this morning, first of all, to communicate his New Year wishes to all of you, and his unreserved apologies that he could not be here, because he is in a pressing social function this morning in the Rift Valley, and later on he has yet another pressing international assignment on behalf of our country. But as you all know, Mr. Chairman, the CEO, our President has been part and parcel of this program since he was Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. This is a program that is very close to his heart, and I dare say at this stage that you remember last year the President gave us firm instructions that we now collapse and reorganize our bursary infrastructure in the Ministry of Education. And my first response to your request is going to be that yes, we will now begin a partnership with the Equity Foundation to reorganize the bursary funds that we have in the ministry and work on a 5-year program, 5-year strategic program that will lead to us developing greater sustainability for this. It is important that we develop a measure of dependence and a measure of commitment on our part as government and as citizens of this country to the great work that is going on here. And I therefore want to assure our partners of our commitment. And that's why I am accompanied in this function this morning by two important people whom I'm going to introduce to you. One is my sister, and our Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, who is specifically in charge of social protection, Mrs. Susan Mochache, who's here. There she is. And my sister and my very close colleague, our Principal Secretary in charge of vocational and technical training, Dr. Dina Mwinsi, who's also here. So, James, coming to this function, because this is my second function since I came to Jogo House, in a sense, and those of you who are here, the clergy will relate to this, gives me the feeling of coming to the altar, you know, where you come to meet with the Lord, where you come to see the Lord at work, how the Lord transforms what seems to be hopelessness to a whole world of possibility. How the Lord is at work, working in the hearts of our people, providing for our children, and gathering us all together with that same spirit of commitment to be human beings who care for the greatest gifts that the Lord has put in our hands, which are our children. And therefore, I want to ask you, faithful members of this society, and all of you, the clergy, that we should consistently pray and work hard that a sense of sanity and morality in the manner in which we manage ourselves develops, and we enhance a sense of responsibility in the way we carry ourselves around. God cannot have blessed us with such gifts of children, and we are irresponsible enough to not only teach them bad manners, but create frameworks driven by greed that cause them to lose opportunities by encouraging such bad practices as examination cheating and mismanagement of our resources. I think a time has come for us to think hard about this, and I want to thank all of you, the leaders who are here from faith-based organizations. We've worked very closely, and before I make my remarks, I have to say this to you. Faith-based organizations were in the education sector in Kenya before the state. Many of our schools were started by our religious organizations. You are the government's foremost partner in the provision of education in our country. We value you, we value your support, and we value your advice. I pledge to you on behalf of government that we will continue to work together on all the programs that we have designed, including the establishment of a chaplaincy program for all our schools, so that as we move forward, we are raising up children who respect particular value systems, wholesome individuals who are educated, yes, but they are also morally strong, and they will be valuable members of our society. That way, then, we will have created a strong generation that will sustain Kenya even long after many of us have gone. But anyway, being the first public event, it indeed gives me great pleasure to be with you here today, to preside over this noble exercise of unveiling of young, bright, and needy scholars who have been awarded full high school scholarships under the Wings to Fly program. The commissioning ceremony today ushers in the 8th cohort of the Wings to Fly program. I would like to commend Equity Group, the MasterCard Foundation, and other supporters for their commitment to this program, which supports secondary and now tertiary for top-performing children from financially challenged backgrounds. Further, the Wings to Fly program complements government efforts meant to ensure that every child gets quality basic education. I note with appreciation that the number of scholars under this program has significantly grown since its launch in 2011. This year alone, there are 1,700 beneficiaries, bringing the total to 14,368 since its inception. This initiative is a good top-up to the government's existing programs, such as the free primary education, free day secondary education, free national examinations for all candidates, enhanced capitation grant to the schools, bursaries, and constituency development fund. All these programs have led to significant increase in access to all levels of education. The country now boasts of transition rates from primary to secondary schools of about 87%, up from 60% in 2008. We all must, once again, offer special congratulations to the 2016 young scholars who are sitting before us today as they plan to start another 4-year cycle at the respective secondary schools where they will report to Form 1 starting today. This is because they were the first group of the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education, KCPE, to sit their examinations under the new reform measures. I hasten to observe that reforms of any kind attract different types of resistance. Sincere people will come with open resistance seeking to dialogue, while others plan hidden resistance out of unfounded fear. Some others will even advance malicious resistance that is born of ill intentions. However, remain very grateful to and appreciative of all the critical role players in the education sector and the public at large who sincerely realize that it's time that we in Kenya candidly confronted our challenges and collectively sought solutions to them for the sake of our children. I am particularly grateful to all our teachers who have continued to make many efforts and sacrifices to teach and mold our children, knowing as they do that they are singularly the most influential factor in the performance and education of our children. I am particularly grateful to the about 138,000 of them who sacrificed their holiday and time to collect examination papers from the containers at sub-county headquarters, supervise and invigilate the examination, and most importantly, the team of 16,637 who professionally trained and qualified teachers that spent time to diligently examine our students before we release the KCSE results. Because of your professionalism, dutifulness, and resolve to make a difference, we together achieved the objective of delivering one of the most credible examinations in the basic education sector of our country in almost a generation. On behalf of my colleagues, both at the ministry headquarters and the rest of our agencies, we would like you, the 16,637 professionally trained and qualified teachers, to know that we appreciate you. We deeply respect your sense of professionalism and firmly confirm to the country that throughout the 2016 examination season, you performed a sterling job in the delivery of a credible examination result. We will not, under any circumstances whatsoever, second guess and besmirch your work, belittle your professionalism, or cast aspersions on your integrity merely on the basis of the overall national performance in any of these examinations. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to make special mention and pay tribute to all our head teachers who won the hearts of our nation by their deep sense of commitment and responsibility in the manner in which they conducted the exercise, despite concerted efforts to incite and intimidate them to refuse to pick exams from the containers and efforts to urge them to abdicate their responsibilities as the heads of their institutions and playing the role of center managers during the examination period. The same forces that parroted such choruses of despondence are about town with a new song. Please, colleagues, ignore them as you did in the past, and let us prepare our children these wonderful gifts from God to us for life. The school calendar year has started. Let's get on with our work. Let us remain focused, resist distraction, and insist on doing the right thing to the honor and glory of our God. This year, particularly, demands greater focus, concentration, and wise use of time. Reforming the education sector of our country will not take one national examination season, one class, or a simple set of policy and legislative actions. It will necessarily take a lot of time, persistent focus, and collective action. It may take as long as even a generation. Many renowned education systems around the world have been built over a long period of time. Of necessity, therefore, we must remain honest to ourselves. And to quote Michael Gove, the former British Education Secretary, and I quote, "Stop lying to children about their life chances and allowing inflated exam grades compared to Soviet tractor production propaganda." I think, continues Secretary Grove, there is no crime greater than lying to children, and that's why we need to tell them the truth. I wish to report that the path to last year's credible examination results was neither easy nor will they be sustained in an environment that will always be conducive. In our effort to ensure fairness, objectivity, and transparency in the management of examinations, we ran into severe bottlenecks, many of which I cannot afford to outline at this ceremony. All of us remember that when the Ministry of Education reorganized school term dates after broad, candid, and open consultations with sector players, some quarters heavily criticized us, terming the reforms unilateral. When we experienced rampant school fires and unrest in late second term of the year, some critics asked us to abruptly close schools, blaming the incidents on the strict examination rules. And I want to stop here and thank the leadership of the religious group in our country for the strong support, prayers, and guidance they gave us throughout that period. We declined to heed their calls since we saw the hand of examination cheating and textbook sales cartels that wanted to stop us from implementing rules that could run them out of their illegal business, including hawking leaked examination papers. Once we came to third term, 2016, we witnessed a shameful campaign that I have alluded to already, meant to dissuade head teachers from supervising examination centers. As you know, all these efforts came to naught. We ran a credible examination and released formidable results in both the KCPE and the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. I wish to reiterate that the Ministry of Education will not be distracted by the prophets of doom who want us to return to the past unethical practices that allowed children of the rich to access stolen examinations at KCPE level, beneficiaries of the KCPE examination leakage went on to join the best schools, where they also benefited from stolen KCSE exams, only for them to flop in the competitive programs at universities, such as medicine and engineering, to which they were admitted. I want to assure all parents, on behalf of government and on behalf of my colleagues, I believe when I speak in public as a public servant, I speak in the presence of God. I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, we will be firm and determined to make the difference that will level the examination playground for all Kenyan children, irrespective of family, status, region, or tribe. And we have seen it here this morning, listening to these children who have come from all walks of life. They're not asking us for anything except fair opportunity. They're asking us to be sincere and to be straight up and do our work as responsible people. That's all they're asking us to do. And we owe it to ourselves, to our Creator, and to these children that God has given us to be sincere, to be serious, and to be honest in the way we do our work. As we celebrate the transition rates and growth in access to university education, our time has come for the country to introspect and balance the production of university-level graduates with a requisite pool of technical skills to support these university graduates. We must now, as a country, make the necessary adjustments to ensure a balance of skill sets to offer a seamless technical pool all the way from certificate to diploma, bachelor degrees to master degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may be aware, there were 577,253 candidates who sat the KCSE exam in 2016. 88,929 scored the minimum university entry mean grade of C+ and above. As disturbing as this may seem, the results indicate a large population of leavers who qualify for tertiary and technical training. The time has come for us to embrace the role of tertiary and technical training development. We must shift from the populist view of white-collar jobs, which are highly pegged on university degree qualifications, and focus more on skills-oriented approaches that equip our youth with practical skill sets that match their aspirations and can help our country to become a middle-income industrialized nation. The historical policy misstep of closing down middle-level colleges and making them universities is one we have to be candid about and correct. Its repercussions are out there for all sincere people to see, and let us not be hypocritical. Such unwise decisions in the past created a distorted demand for university education, the most horrific consequences of which is that over 80% of our enrolled university students are in the liberal arts and humanities courses completely at variance with our development needs at this point in time. Let us be honest to one another. The massification of universities in our country has dealt a body blow to the quality of our university education. We cannot therefore continue to live a lie. We have lived a lie for a long time, and it is time we began a honest journey towards the truth and live the way we are supposed to live. The Kenya Vision 2030 champions a growing and inclusive economy, one that is fostered by strong knowledge-based sectors, particularly manufacturing and services. Achieving this vision will depend heavily on how well equipped the graduates are with 21st century universal skills. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 64 operational, technical and vocational colleges, out of which 4 are for trainees with special needs. Since 2014, the government has constructed another 60 TVCs, which are complete and ready to become operational. An additional 70 are under construction and are expected to be completed by June 2017. It is the government's plan to have a TVC in each constituency. Apart from construction of new TVCs, the ministry is also in the process of equipping the existing institutions with state-of-the-art training equipment in order to attract trainees and provide them with skills that match modern-day technology. The ministry has an enrollment of about 140,000 trainees in the 64 operational, technical and vocational colleges. This number is expected to grow to about 200,000 following the ongoing rebranding of TVET and operationalization of new colleges. There is capacity for about 400,000 Form 4 leavers in TVET institutions under various government ministries. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to encourage the youth to apply for courses in TVET where capacity is ever unmet. For instance, in 2015, out of the 50,000 declared vacancies in the TVET, only 12,000 applied to join TVET colleges, leaving an excess capacity of 38,000 places. It is worth noting that students who apply for TVET also qualify for HELP loans. TVET students funded in 2015 were a dismal 11,000 that were able to consume only 396 million, while we had actually budgeted for 500 million shillings. This year, we have put aside again in the budget an additional 900 million shillings for our students who will be going to technical and vocational training institutions to take as loans. With that 900 million shillings, we can very easily fund 30,000 students who will go into technical training institutions. And yes, Dr. James Mwangi, we will partner with you in the new TTI framework, and from next week we will launch the program we discussed with you of absorbing 10,000 students into the TTI's under 50-50 framework. I am glad to note that the Equity Bank has widened its support to the youth of Kenya by offering support to 2,900 youth to train in TVET institutions under the Ministry of Education. The trainees will undergo short competence-based courses that are skills-based and provide competence in specified skills areas. The identified trainees who will have qualified to proceed to university will have acquired skills that will equip them for part-time employment that can potentially sustain them during their studies, while other beneficiaries who will not qualify for degree programs will have employability and entrepreneurial skills. In the past year, as I move towards conclusion, the government has commenced the process of reviewing our national education curriculum. This is in line with the National Education Sector Plan, which exemplifies commitment to education, training reforms, and supports a comprehensive and ambitious agenda to promote and popularize science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. The ministry, in conjunction with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, is in the process of reforming the national curriculum with a shift from a subject-based curriculum to a competence-based curriculum. The new curriculum will provide the opportunity to set standards against which student learning can be assessed, taking into consideration the individual learner's interests, abilities, and talents. We are proposing changes to our education curriculum to gradually invest in the change that focuses on continuous evaluation. To some extent, this will require reforming our current teacher training framework and the training of some of the critical actors in the evaluation chain, and a relook at the whole process of the spectrum of assessment. As I announced recently, we plan to present the proposed new curriculum to education stakeholders at a national curriculum soon. In the effort to ensure the learners are adequately supported, the Ministry of Education is in the process of developing a comprehensive education data management information system that gives accurate and reliable data. The new system will be the single source of truthful data that will guide in the planning and disbursement of education capitation. Further, while receiving the report of the 2016 KCSE results, His Excellency the President directed the Ministry to issue each learner with a unique personal identifier. I wish to announce that the Ministry is in the process of ensuring that every learner has a unique personal identifier. For KCPE and KCSE candidates this year, the index numbers will be replaced by the UPIs. The Ministries of Education, Interior, Health, and other departments of government will work together to implement a personal registration number scheme that will ensure that ongoing systems of gathering educational data enable us to have accurate data and manage to take care of the wastage that we have witnessed before. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to congratulate the parents, the guardians, as well as the teachers who continue to tirelessly nurture and mold students in their critical learning path as they pursue their education goals. To the beneficiaries of this Wings to Fly program, I want to ask you that the best thing that can ever happen to you in life is to get an opportunity. You have seen right here before you what those who went before you did with the opportunities they were given. It's up to you. As the Chinese say, everyone weaves a pattern of their choice. and life gives you an opportunity as a thread. You have been given an opportunity. Please weave a pattern that will lead you to success. On my own behalf and on behalf of colleagues in government, I can't thank you enough, Dr. Munga. James, we cannot thank you enough. A country is not built only by those of us who are in government offices. Individuals who give of themselves sacrificially and commit their resources, knowledge, experience to support our population contribute a lot. All of you are partners, MasterCard, USAID, the German government. You didn't have to do this, but you have been kind and gracious enough to help our children. We can't thank you enough, but I would like to assure you on behalf of government, we consistently appreciate what you do. Because, as Dr. Mwangi said, you are giving this country an inexhaustible resource that will enable us to move forward as we develop. We thank you indeed. And I want to urge all my colleagues who are here, including the Vice Chancellors and the Chairs of Council who are here, everyone from the education sector. Let us also take up the spirit of honesty and commitment like Peter Munga, like James Mwangi and the others who love their country enough to make the sacrifices that they are making to see that our children succeed. Let us also make our contribution, because that is the only way we can show gratitude to our God for what He has enabled us to do. It's time we Kenyans learned thanks living, not thanksgiving alone, thanks living thankfully by doing the right thing as we move forward. May God bless you indeed, and it's my pleasure to declare the program officially commissioned.
Thank you very much, sir. Another round of applause for our Cabinet Secretary. Thank you very much. Our chief guest, we seek your indulgence so that we can request our Bishop, Bishop Joel Waweru, to guide us in the dedication of these scholars. Askofu, karibu sana.
May I request all the religious leaders, the priests, and all the others who are able to kindly come and stand here as we bless and dedicate these candidates, these students. And may I request the students, the wings to fly students to stand up so that these men and I don't know whether there are any women of God to bless you as we do this noble act of dedication. We will request the religious leaders and the priests, those whose